On Global Television News Express headlines, President Tinubu rewards Super Eagles with National Award, plots of land and flats in the FCT. Federal government pushes for efficient transport system. Zulum distributes 225 million naira food items to families in Bama. On the foreign scene, Liberia Defense Minister resigns 10 days after appointment. And in sport, Premier League approves Ratcliffe's 25% purchase of Manchester United. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday rewarded the Super Eagles of Nigeria with a national award, member of the Order of the Niger, MON, flats in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, and piece of land. President Bola Tinubu made the pronouncement when he received the players and officials of the Nigeria Football Federation at the Council Chamber, Presidential Villa, Abuja. The delegation is led by the Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Enoch. The Super Eagles finished as runners-up in the just concluded African Cup of Nations hosted by Côte d'Ivoire. State governments have been charged to prioritize the fight against substance abuse in their strategic work plan for the safe and secure society. Critical stakeholders, including First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, Attorney General of the Federation, and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi, as well as Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired, gave the charge as part of efforts aimed at intensifying the fight against substance abuse in their strategic work plans for a safe and secure society. This formed a major talking point at the opening ceremony of a two-day training on drug prevention, treatment, and care organized by the Agency for Wives of the State Governors in Abuja. Sharon Ajay brings us more.
Speaking at the event, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who was special guest of honor, tasked the state to see the war against the drug manians as a collective effort. The First Lady, who was represented by wife of the Inspector General of Police, Elizabeth Egbetokun, commended Marwa and the Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum for the initiative, added that drug abuse is not just a law enforcement issue, but a public health crisis. She further urged governor spouses to challenge the stigma and discrimination associated with addiction and foster a culture of empathy, understanding, and solidarity towards those struggling with substance use disorders.
I commend the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency under the leadership of His Excellency Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, CON-OFR, for organizing this vital training and for your ongoing efforts in combating drug abuse in Nigeria. I equally commend the chairperson of the Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Olufolake Aburazak, for this significant collaboration.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi San, in his remark, commended the resourcefulness of the NDLEA leadership in utilizing the Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum to cassette the drug war into the grassroots and the community level, saying the issue of drug use is not confined to any region or social strata, but affects every corner of the nation and propagates crime and other criminalities across the world.
I commend the authorities of NDLEA and the chairperson of the Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum for conceptualizing this project, especially at this time that the nation is facing a lot of insecurity and other social challenges. Your involvement in this training underscores the commitment to combating the scourge of drug abuse and its devastating effects on individuals, families, and societies.
The NDLEA boss, in his remarks, says the devastating effect of substance abuse on public health, the environment, and its nexus with the spat of insecurity faced across the country has made it mandatory for a whole-of-society approach to curb the scourge.
The drug prevention, treatment, and care DPTC training is a seminal approach to tackling the illicit drug crisis in society. Our presence here today underscores the crucial role that each of us plays in addressing the multifaceted challenges posed by the substance abuse in our states and communities.
The NDLEA boss further urged the governor's wife to take advantage of their position to mobilize support for drug prevention and treatment in their states. Sharana J. reporting for Global TV News.
The National Assembly has called for the immediate empowerment of farmers with modern tools and financing to address the challenge of hunger and food insecurity. Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, made the call in Abuja at a high-level strategic engagement on climate change, food systems, and resource mobilization. The event was organized by the African Union Development Agency New Partnership for Africa's Development, NEPAD. Kalu specifically called for urgent steps to address Nigeria's food security challenges and harness agricultural opportunities of the nation. A bill for an act seeking to amend the 1999 Constitution to change the educational qualification for elections into certain political offices has been stepped down by the leave of the House of Representatives. Standing in the name of Adewumi Onanuga, the proposed legislation aimed at pegging minimum qualification for elections into governorship, presidential, and other key elective offices in the country. Leading the debate during plenary session, Onanuga, who represents Ikene Salami Remo North Federal Constituency, Ogun State, argued that the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 should be amended to make it compulsory for elective office holders to have a university degree or its equivalent, as against the current provision, which allows a first school leaving certificate holder to vie for the highest office in the land. The House of Representatives has urged the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to immediately deploy an armed personnel carrier vehicles to Mopol 64 base in Obiohia, Idiato South Local Government Area in Idiato North South Federal Constituency of Imo State. The lawmakers mandated its Committee on Police Affairs to ensure compliance and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. The resolutions follow the adoption of a motion sponsored by Honorable Ikenga Ogochinyere at the plenary. The lawmakers said the House was aware that Mopo 64 base located in Obiohia in Idiato South Local Government Area of Idiato North and South Federal Constituency serves as the operational base for the mobile police in the Federal Constituency and its environs. The federal government has pledged its commitment to expand the community radio as a tool to strengthen the nation's democracy. This was disclosed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, in a statement issued in commemoration of the World Radio Day. World Radio Day is celebrated annually every February 13th. Idris stated that the theme of this year's celebration, Radio, is century informing, entertaining, and educating, reflects the remarkable achievement of radio as a means of communication and information for over 100 years, despite the advent of social media. Idris also stated that owing to the radio's wide-reaching information dissemination, the government has initiated necessary reforms in the process of establishing community radio stations. The federal government has reiterated the importance of an efficient transport system to the Nigerian economy. The government said an efficient transportation system would be beneficial to agriculture and food security. marine and blue economy, tourism, industrialization, manufacturing and trade, national integration, amongst others. Minister of Transportation Saeed Al-Khali said this at a two-day ministerial retreat on the signed performance bind for workers of the ministry in Abuja. The minister urged the permanent secretary to ensure that the directors and head of agencies of ministries pass the outcome of the retreat to other officers who were not privileged to attend. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum has distributed food items worth 225 million naira to over 70,000 vulnerable families in Bama local government area of the state. Speaking at the distribution ceremony, Zulum said the distribution of the foodstuff and cash was to assist communities affected by insurgents and families struggling for livelihood. According to him, the gesture is also to prevent the victims from being recruited into insurgent groups. A total of 45,000 females received 50,000 naira cash and one wrapper each, while each household received 25,000 naira with a bag of rice and maize grain. The National President of the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DIPOA, Ogogo Musa, has organized a visioning and planning workshop program for wives of military personnel to help them achieve their individual dreams. Represented by Helen Kenya, the DIPOA president says the empowerment workshop is aimed at helping them create balance and fulfillment for their lives as women, which will lead to the realization of their vision and aspiration. Kikelomo Okere brings us details.
Personal vision is the process of creating a clear and compelling mental image of what the person wants to achieve or become in future. Speaking at the event in Abuja, President of the DIPOA says it is imperative for women to acknowledge the complex roles they shoulder as modest wife, professionals and caretakers of the home. According to her, women find themselves entangled in a way of responsibility where they pursue their own dreams that they may seem unachievable. According to her, it is against this backdrop that the workshop is organized to address the issue of lack of vision.
Balancing the demands of work, family, and personal growth can often feel like an overwhelming task. We find ourselves entangled in a web of responsibilities where the pursuit of our own dreams may seem unachievable. It is important to note that within each of us lies so much untapped potentials. Today, we come together to awaken that potential, to shed light on the dreams and desires that have been dormant within us.
She added that the importance of personal visioning is a foundation, direction, and inspiration which ignites passion and enthusiasm, noting that with focus on prioritization, resilience, and adaptability, dreams will be achieved.
For many, the challenge is not in the lack of ambition or clarity of purpose, but in actualizing those dreams. The magnitude of our responsibilities can cast a shadow over our aspirations, leaving us feeling overwhelmed and directionless. It is against this backdrop that the workshop was organized to address the issue of lack of visioning. It is expected of us to engage in meaningful discussion, reflective exercise, and actionable strategies aimed at empowering each of us to take decisive steps towards our goals.
Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
Some hoodlums on Monday attacked officials of NAFDAC who were on enforcement operations against substandard drugs in Abuja. The officials were attacked by the hoodlums during the raid at Area 1 Motor Park. The hoodlums harassed the enforcement officers, including mobile policemen, and stoned the agency's vehicle, breaking its windscreen. The team leader, Omar Ahmed Suleiman, an Assistant Chief Regulatory Officer, National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC), said the raid followed intelligence received by the agency about the high volume of substandard drugs in the park. The Lagos State House of Assembly has passed a resolution urging the National Assembly to commence an urgent constitutional amendment to allow for the creation of state police. The lawmakers said the call followed the growing threats of kidnapping and other forms of insecurity in Nigeria. At a plenary session presided over by the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, the House also called for the proper equipping of the Neighborhood Safety Corps to support other security agencies in Lagos State. Obasa therefore urged the state government to allocate a specific percentage from the Security Trust Fund to strengthen the corps in the state. The Speaker said it would be good for the root causes of insecurity to be addressed through effective youth engagement initiatives, including sports. The police in Anambra said they arrested 2 suspected serial killer cultists in Ihiala, local government area of the state. The suspects were arrested during a special operation by the police crack squad deployed by the Commissioner of Police Aderemi Adeoye. DSP Tochukwu Ikenga, the police public relations officer in the state, disclosed this in a statement on Monday in Onitsha. The spokesperson said both suspects were arrested in their hideouts at Okija within the same local government area. He disclosed that the command had directed the squad to smoke out all cultists in the state and clip their wings. And moving to Benue State, a Benue High Court presided over by Chief Judge of the state, Maurice Ikpambese, has ordered the reinstatement of Austin Agada as the chairman of the All Progressive Congress (APC). Ikpambese gave the order while ruling on a motion seeking to set aside the interim order restraining Agada from parading himself as chairman of the APC in Benue. Agada was suspended by the Benue High Court in earlier day, presided over by Justice Lillian Sumba over allegations of anti-party activities. You're watching News Express coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, Naira reaches all-time low of 1,534 Naira to the US dollar at the official market. The news continues shortly with details of these and more stories right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Express. Thank you for staying with us. And moving to the foreign scene, the leader of the military junta in Niger Republic, General Abdurrahmani Tishani, has pledged that none of the 3 Sahel countries will seek readmission to the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. He also affirmed that the junta will never release the deposed President Mohamed Bazoum, who was taken hostage following the July 26, 2023 coup in the country. On January 27, 2024, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger announced their plans to withdraw from membership in the ECOWAS despite repeated efforts at reconciliation. Liberia's new defense minister has resigned from his post just 10 days after being appointed following a protest by soldiers' wives, the presidency said. The resignation marks the first political crisis facing Liberia's new president, Joseph Boakai, since his inauguration at the end of January. The presidency said in a statement that Boakai has received and accepted a letter of resignation from the recently confirmed Minister of National Defense, Prince Johnson. In his resignation letter, Johnson cited the current political and civil disturbances occasioned by the protests of women believed to be wives of servicemen. Israel's spy chief was headed to Cairo Tuesday for talks with his Egyptian and United States counterpart on the Gaza truce proposal as discord mounts over the war. Mossad Director David Barnea will meet CIA Chief William Burns, Israeli officials said, speaking on condition of anonymity due to the sensitivity of the discussions. They will be joined in the Egyptian capital by Qatari Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani, who also serves as the country's top diplomat and has brokered previous Gaza ceasefires. Washington sources are familiar with development confirmed Monday that Burns is expected in Cairo for talks on a Qatari brokered truce proposal after Israel rejected the initial response last week from Gaza rulers Hamas. A quick look at business. The Naira fell to a new all-time low of 1,534 Naira to a dollar on the official Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market. This indicates a loss of 3.93% fall or 58 Naira from the 1,476 Naira 13 kobo to a dollar at the national currency closed last week Friday, according to the FMDQ Exchange, a platform that publishes official foreign exchange trading in the country. Monday's official rate became the worst official exchange rate since the Central Bank of Nigeria floated the national currency in June 2023. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission on Tuesday said plans are on the way to end gas flaring in 2030. The NUPRC Chief Executive Officer Benga Kolomolofe disclosed this while delivering his speech at the 8th Sub-Saharan African International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference holding in Lagos. According to Komolafe, the NUPRC is effectively spearheading the national drive to achieve the zero flare target by 2030 and net zero carbon emissions by 2060. This, he said, would be achieved through several initiatives, including the Nigerian Gas Flare Commercialization Program. Power distribution companies that are performing below stipulated standards in the Nigerian electricity supply industry are going to lose 50% of their operating expenditures, the federal government declared. It made a declaration through the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission at the first NESR stakeholders meeting of 2024 in Lagos, stressing that the individual performances of DISCOs shall be examined on a case-by-case basis going forward. Officially, Nigeria has 11 power distribution companies that supply electricity to over 12 million registered power users across the country. And moving to the education sector, the Academic Staff Union of Universities has said the federal government is still using the Integrated Personnel Payroll Information System to pay lecturers' salaries. National President ASU, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, complained that the federal government had yet to implement its promise to remove tertiary institutions from the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System platform, adding that the February salary was paid through IPPIS. In December 2023, the federal government announced that tertiary institutions, including universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, had been exempted from the platform. Maritime workers have warned of a potential nationwide strike if the federal government continues with the proposed 50% automatic deduction from revenue accrued to the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA. They made the threat in a statement jointly issued by the Senior Staff Association of Statutory Corporations and Government-Owned Companies and the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria in Lagos. In the statement signed by the two unions, president of the Senior Staff Association of Statutory Corporations and Government-Owned Companies, Akinola Bodunde, and the President General of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, Adewale Adeyanju, they stated that they had written a letter to the president regarding the development. The unions warned that failure to rescind their decision would lead to workers' withdrawal and a total shutdown of ports nationwide. Both unions insisted on a 30% deduction from the NPA's revenue instead of 50%. As we turn to sport, President Bola Tinubu has hailed the Super Eagles for their performance and tenacity at the just concluded 2023 African Cup of Nations AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire. Nigeria failed to lift AFCON, having lost 2-1 to the Elephants of Côte d'Ivoire at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium in Abidjan on Sunday night. However, in a statement issued by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngilale, President Tinubu encouraged Nigerians to be good of cheer despite the loss, noting that the Super Eagles' grit and sheer determination throughout the tournament had won the hearts of Africa and the entire world. In the meantime, thousands of jubilant fans has crammed the streets of Abidjan for the Ivory Coast victory parade after the host's remarkable African Cup of Nations triumph the night before. Just as in 2015, for their last AFCON triumph, the Elephants roamed the streets of the country's economic capital. Sebastian Halia, who scored the decisive goal in Sunday's 2-1 final win over Nigeria, and the rest of the squad were perched on a truck fitted out for the occasion with a 3-star sign to mark the Ivorians' third title. And still talking sport, the Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa has called on Nigerians to show genuine love and support to the country's national team players who have given their all representing their fatherland. Musa said as much against the backdrop of the insult hurled at Super Eagles midfielder Alexi Iwobi on social media by fans who are allegedly not giving enough to the team's silver medal finish at the 2023 AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire. The Super Eagles were beaten 2-1 by host Côte d'Ivoire in the final match of 2023 AFCON final at the Ouattara Stadium on Sunday night, and Iwobi has since been subjected to social media attacks, with fans blaming him for his not too impressive showing in the competition. Coach Jose Peseiro has admitted that the Super Eagles tactics he deployed since the start of the competition simply did not work in Sunday's 2023 African Cup of Nations final against Côte d'Ivoire. Nigeria settled for a silver medal after losing 2-1 to the Elephants of Côte d'Ivoire in the final played at the Ouattara Stadium on Sunday. William Trust Ekong opened the score for the Super Eagles in the 38th minute before Frank Kesse equalized in the 62nd minute and the winning goal from Sebastian Halia in the 81st minute. And talking club football, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has received Premier League directors and owners test approval for his 25% purchase of Manchester United. A deal will be completed within days as the Football Association signs off a final agreement after Ratcliffe extended his purchase offer until the end of this week. United Class A shares rose more than 6% to 21% in post-market trading after the tender offer deadline was extended to Friday from Tuesday. Club filings to the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission overnight confirmed the league has privately approved the deal. A Premier League statement confirming the decision is only expected once Ratcliffe completes, however, which is likely next week. As we end the News Express, let's take a look at our top stories. President Tinubu rewards Super Eagles with national honor and plots of land and flats in the FCT. Federal government pushed for efficient transport system, and Zulum distributed 225 million naira food items to families in Bama local government area. On the foreign scene, Liberia Defense Minister resigned 10 days after appointment. And in sports, Premier League approved Ratcliffe's 25% purchase of Manchester United. That's it on News Express, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Anthony Momodu saying thank you for watching and see you again